And it was a beautiful thing. It was one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life, having a service dog, having Turner as my service dog, and my dog, and my friend. I miss him very much. But I still kind of go through hikes in my head with him, remembering us walking in various trails.
I personally experience that narrative all the time. And I know what it is to be out in the world with an invisible disability and can really sympathize and empathize with our clients who are in the same exact situation.
My name is Indy, I'm 16 years old, and this is my dog Otto. He goes to high school with me every day, and I'm a junior, and he's amazing, and he helps me with my Tourette syndrome, and he's a psychiatric service dog.
So my name is Amy. This is Cal. He's a 2-year-old chocolate lab, still in training as a service dog. He knows his job very well. However, being a 2-year-old, we're still working on some impulse control, settling in public, exposure to new environments, but he's doing great.
Well, my name is Beth Mantis, and I'm a senior citizen in denial. This is my dog, Harvey. He is a 7-year-old Havanese, and we've been together since he was whelped. He sort of picked me out of the litter, and I have really enjoyed working with Atlas and training him, and him being my service dog.
So this is my service dog, Theo. He is a psychiatric assistance dog. I got him at 4 months of age. He is currently 11 and a half. And I have raised him and trained him. Initially, he was actually donated to a different nonprofit that I was part of, and we were going to raise him as a breeding dog. However, he had a number of health issues, mostly around allergies, that came up before he was 2. And so I just kept him.
Reed is my service dog. He is an 11-year-old Labradoodle. These days I like to call him a grumpy old man. He wasn't always like that, but these days he's a grumpy old man. And he's just a very special boy.
I'm Jennifer Kohler. I am the president and co-founder of Atlas Assistance Dogs, and this is my service dog, Theodore.
I'm Mike Kohler, and I'm one of the co-founders of Atlas, and I'm on the board.
This is my father. So both had been involved with other nonprofits, and I had been part of starting a service dog for-profit before. And after being part of the industry for a while, we really saw the huge need for more options. That while foundations were great in terms of being able to provide dogs to the people that were qualified for them, while private service dog trainers were a great option for people that could afford them, there were many, many people who were getting left behind. There are many people that had a dog partially possibly meeting their needs, that if they just had a bit more support, they could have the dog with them, working them, helping as their service dog.
There are a lot of really good organizations, but there are a lot of organizations that don't use positive training methods, that use more aversive training methods. And we wanted to make sure that we were just taking care of the dogs, being ethical and humane and positive with the dogs.
I've known Jen Kolar for a number of years, and they invited me to sit on their advisory board. And Atlas Assistance Dogs focuses a lot on the training of animals using positive reinforcement, but they have a very unique model in which they teach people how to train their own assistance dog. And so I think as a trainer, my top priority has to be welfare, has to be the well-being of the animal. When you put the welfare of the animal first, when you make sure they're getting the best vet care, getting the best food, when you're making sure that all of their needs are being met, you end up having happy, healthy animals. And one of the wonderful things about dogs is that when they're happy and when they're healthy, they work harder. They do their job better. They love to train. They love to learn new things. And so what you have there is a dog who is more motivated simply because of the fact that you've put so much emphasis on their well-being and their welfare. You need to find a way to make what you're teaching that animal fun, something they can't wait to do, something that they want to do well because they know that they're going to be reinforced well for doing that. And when I work with organizations and get them to see that, no, it's really about forcing you to think about what's in this animal's best interest. What are the things that can enhance this animal's welfare? What is it that we can do that can make the task that we're teaching the animal fun for them? Because then their stress is reduced, their health is better, they're happier animals, and so they do their tasks that much better.
And it isn't necessarily the way that organizations have traditionally approached it, because the approach has traditionally been more about what can the dog do for the person and how can we as the organization turn out dogs as quickly as possible. And they've been under intense pressure to do so. And one of the things we really look at is we don't want the dog to just suck it up and make it through the day. We want the dog to genuinely love what they're doing and be happy and thrive.
Hi, I'm Molly Nair. I am Atlas Assistance Dogs, Director of Operations and Programs. I've worked there for 7 years. So I first got involved with Atlas as a volunteer board member. When I was in college as a service dog handler myself, I became very aware of a lot of barriers that a lot of service dog handlers encountered, or a lot of barriers that people that wanted to get a service dog or train a service dog encountered, whether that was the financial cost or just not knowing how to get one. And so I really wanted to be part of the solution.
He mostly performs tasks like deep pressure therapy and also behavioral interruption. And he alerts to me when I'm ticking so that I can perform my replacement behaviors and like calm myself down. Well, I got him at 8 weeks old and did most of the training myself. So I know I feel like we have a very close bond and I love spending time with him, and we kind of grew up together and we go to school together, and so I feel like we're quite close. What do you think?
I decided to get a service dog pretty quickly after I started having seizures. So I developed my seizure disorder about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago when I was in college. It was shortly after a brain injury. About a month or so later, started having seizures. And at the time I was having between 10 to 15 seizures a day. And so it was a really scary and dark time. But it was a friend of mine who had actually seen a service dog while she had come to visit me in the hospital. And she saw a dog with a vest that said seizure response dog. And she kind of was like, Molly, you need a service dog.
He came to me through a sponsorship program with Atlas Assistance Dogs, and we've been together about a year and a half now. I am a client with Atlas, and Cal is my very first service dog. So I never had any idea that service dogs could be used for PTSD until I got called into a courthouse to do a deposition. At the courthouse, I didn't think there was any chance of getting through this deposition without having a major PTSD episode. I was having to talk about a crime that occurred. The environment was very stressful, and they brought in a courthouse facility dog who came into the room, immediately locked in on my anxiety, came over to me, applied deep pressure, sat with me, comforted me, and I was able to get through the deposition not only successfully, but laughing.
I chose him very much as a specific breed, and when I went to the breeder to pick him up or to just investigate the puppies, she had me sit in the middle of the litters. There were 2, and so there were 14 puppies. I actually sat down, and all the puppies came from sleeping to go outside, and every puppy passed my lap as they were going outside. And I thought, oh my gosh, like no puppy would stop when I reached for it or tried to engage with it. And so I thought, well, I guess this isn't the litter for me, or a puppy out of this litter. And finally, this little puppy came toddling out of the crate, and it was Harvey. And he sat on my lap, chewed on the strings on my sweatshirt, and never left.
Over the process of developing Atlas, while I had had an anxiety disorder much of my life, I never saw myself as someone who needed a service dog. And it really took being part of this community and seeing what he could do, and specifically training him, to recognize that I too, just like many people in society, struggle with questioning, should we have a dog? Do we deserve a dog? That yes, my life is significantly better thanks to the support of my service dog and the tasks I've trained him to do. In terms of certification standards in the US, there are essentially none. So under the American with Disabilities Act, a service dog is a dog who has been trained to do at least one thing to directly mitigate someone's disability, and that is otherwise well behaved in public. And the definition of disability in that context is really in the eye of the beholder, and it's something that significantly impacts a major part of your life day to day. If you have something that you identify as a disability, you have a dog that has been trained to do at least one thing in public that helps with that, and they're well behaved, poof, you have a service dog. It's really good in that it provides access to everybody who could benefit from a service dog if they have one. However, because of the lack of regulation and lack of control, it means that there's a lot of people out there with dogs where it's really not appropriate for that dog to be there. And it doesn't mean that person doesn't have a disability. And it doesn't mean that dog is not helping that person. But maybe the dog just doesn't have the right temperament for that setting. Or the person hasn't had the training and support they need yet. Or they are somebody who just wants to bring their pet with them to a public space. And we end up with confused business people, confused public. We end up with dogs getting attacked by dogs that really shouldn't be in these spaces. But because our laws are very broad, and because businesses are terrified to challenge people, we end up with a lot of challenge and difficulty for everybody.
And we offer our own certification, and in that we confirm with the doctor that the person genuinely has a disability, and we make sure that the person is capable of training a service dog. We make sure that the dog has the right temperament to be a service dog and is going to be able to accept the challenges of being a service dog, the restraints, the work, and then have a public access test that confirms that they actually are able to function effectively in public without endangering themselves, their dog, or the public.
There are lots of organizations that provide fully finished, ready to go working service dogs that they pair up and they're on the go. This is different. This is meeting halfway. They do the part that I can't do, and it's up to me to do the work and finish and do the rest. And we're still in process.
As long as the dog has the right temperament, that they're confident in public, that they're okay around other kids, around other dogs, that if they have the size to do what the person needs, it doesn't matter if they're purebred, it doesn't matter if they're a Labrador or a Golden or a Pit Bull. What we care about is, do they have the right temperament to do the job? And do they fit in that person's lifestyle well? For some people, smaller people, older people, people living in the city, living in small apartments, people without a lot of resources, a smaller dog is a way better fit. A small dog is perfectly capable of doing a medical alert like a diabetic alert. They don't have to be a bigger dog.
I have a small dog, and I think people often misunderstand the purpose of a service dog because there are all kinds of disabilities. I am hearing disabled, if you will. I have a lack of hearing, a broken cochlea on my right side from an accident that I had. So I was a fully hearing adult until I was, 60, 50 something. Oh, I guess I was 55. And I had an accident where a horse ran over me as I was exiting the trailer I had loaded it in, and slashed my brainstem. As a result of that, and maybe some contusions from the tracks that went over my head, I had a broken cochlea in this right ear, which created a long duration of vertigo. I had vertigo for 3 months, I guess that's more simply said. And so I recovered from all that and ended up not able to train horses anymore because of it. I have a neurodysproprioception on this side, so I don't see past here or feel people or environments here. So it's a little dangerous. So I had to quit training because I really didn't feel very confident or comfortable doing that. So in the context of that, and I was working in the healing arts at the time, my physician said, if you're going to continue doing this work amongst people and traveling around doing stuff, you need to probably get a service dog to help you with your hearing so that you can be aware of people and things on the right side of you. He has done a variety of things, but mostly when I am in the public, in a grocery store or in a department store or in an airport, Harvey, I can ask him to watch at my right side, and he sits, and then as people approach me, he will tap me to alert me that there is someone coming from the side where I don't see or hear people approaching. So it's wonderful to be able to look and see and know that somebody's approaching, or if I'm walking, he will oftentimes, I can kind of keep an eye on my dog, and he will alert by just looking to see that somebody is passing. So it's been wonderful to have him. It's so much of a confidence builder. I lose my phone all the time. And so I can ping my phone on my watch and it'll ping, and he has learned how to find it for me, and he finds it very well, even in public places. So that's been really fun. And so he will alert me when somebody comes to my door. I don't often hear knocks when I'm in the house somewhere, or even sometimes the doorbell. An interesting thing happened to me a few weeks ago where I had a very busy day happening in my home, and I had gone into the kitchen with the intention of sauteing mushrooms. So I put butter in a pan and turned it on and left. And then I went into the bathroom and started fixing my hair or something, and the smoke alarm went off. I did not hear it. And Harvey came in and tapped me, ran out, in, out, tapping my leg. And I hadn't ever had that happen before. I thought maybe someone was at the door, but I wasn't expecting anyone. So I blew it off the first 2 times. And he was so anxious about it that I went to go see. And sure enough, when I got close to the smoke alarm, I heard it. And that was something I had not even taught him to do. I think Harvey takes his job quite seriously. He seems to understand that I don't hear. So he very much takes care of me. After I lost my hearing, I very much was insecure about going out of my house in public. Harvey has been a confidence boost like no other. The fact that I'm here today is even indicative of the confidence that he instills in me for going places. I do travel a lot, but I really would not travel if it weren't for my dog. I'd always advocate for the talent and gifting of a small dog. The ability to travel with him is so much more convenient for a small person like me. Dude, come this way. Come over here. Yeah, sit. Yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah. Okay, you can hang out here.
I think with veterans particularly, there's a lot of service dog organizations out there. Most of them focus on physical disabilities and assisting in physical ways. Cal helps me in a different way. He helps me with PTSD, me in particular, because he is able to pick up when a PTSD episode is potentially going to happen, when my anxiety level raises or my stress level raises. And he alerts me to that, which enables me to use my mental toolbox to stop it, to nip it in the bud, or at least to minimize it, so that I don't have embarrassing public situations. I don't have to leave. My way of dealing with PTSD had pretty much plateaued, and I was dealing with it by avoidance at that point. So when I met Marshall, the courthouse service dog, and realized the potential, I immediately started reaching out to service dog organizations to see how a dog could help me. Gonna have to take a break for a moment.
Sure.
Good boy. Good job. Thank you. Okay. All the organizations I looked at required the veteran to go to a facility, to work with groups, to go to a facility, to get a fully trained dog. That was not an option for me. I wasn't going to go stay at a camp, go to a workshop in a different state. I wasn't going to do group therapy with a bunch of veterans, although I am a veteran and I love veterans. Veterans were part of what put me in the situation I was in. So I knew that most of the organizations weren't going to work for me. I also struggled with taking away a fully trained service dog from a veteran who really needed it. I felt that as a veteran, I was coping okay. I was doing okay by staying home, avoiding situations. I worked on a farm, and I was managing well, actually, only I wasn't. I can go anywhere knowing that if I have a panic attack, he's got my back. He's going to alert me early enough that I can stop it. I'm not going to have an embarrassing situation, or it's going to be very minimized. I went to my first public baseball game, which was something I really, really wanted to do, but I thought, there's no way that I can do the crowd. There's no way that I can go into a setting where I can't get to an exit fast enough or a bathroom fast enough should something happen. Through building confidence and through my experiences with Cal and him alerting me and knowing he's got my back, I was able to go to a baseball game. The other thing he does that it didn't require any teaching or guidance is he has completely stopped night terrors. There are times when I'm sleeping when I'll have a night terror episode, kind of like a nightmare, cause me to wake up in a cold sweat, flashback type things. And I would not be able to get back to sleep. That meant I was up for the night. Within a few weeks of getting Cal, he had an awareness of what was happening and would comfort me in the night. And then the next time it happened, I woke up, he was there, and I was able to immediately go back to sleep. Now I don't wake up anymore. I know that I have them, they still happen, but he lays close to me, he'll put a paw over me, and he breaks the cycle so that the night terror doesn't progress, doesn't wake me up. I have no awareness of them, and I don't frankly know that I even have them anymore. I'm not entirely sure. As a veteran, that was huge. There's not really any treatment for that other than being heavily drugged during sleep. I know I don't require any medications, and the night terrors are done. So as a veteran, that's big. I think Atlas is very much on the right course, and I think the big plus with Atlas is that they work with the individual. They focus on that team, that particular team, and what they need. It's not like the other service organizations that are raising for veterans and you all get together in a group and everybody does the same things with their dogs. Atlas focused on what I needed Cal to do for me.
Well, it's enormous. So before Otto, from when she was in 5th grade, she had a tic that was a screaming tic. And so she was being removed from the classroom. So she wasn't accessing her education. And then as we went into middle school, she had some more violent tics where she would hit her head. And so she was constantly being sent to the nurse's office, and then I was being phoned to come and pick her up. We were having 2 to 3 tic attacks a week, which were pretty violent and impactful. They could last for hours. And so when Otto came into our lives, even before he was trained, the severity of her tic attacks decreased. And so that has a massive knock-on effect, not just for Indy having to go through all those tic attacks, but also the emotion of watching somebody you love have to go through hours of difficulty. And he has reduced that. You know, initially it was once a week we were getting tic attacks, and now I think we've had 2 or 3 this entire year. So that's just so enormous for Indy and all of us. And she stays in the classroom much more.
Yeah, that's helpful.
It's such an amazing experience for somebody who's young to be able to really look after another animal for so many hours every day. And it's not like, you know, many young people might walk their dog or maybe feed an animal. But, you know, Indy is looking after him from really early in the morning all the way through the day. He's constantly by her side. And so she has to be in tune and look out for his needs. And she manages that really, really well. And that practicing that responsibility, practicing that empathy for another animal, I just really seen her grow in how she understands herself and how much grace she provides for others as well. So it's been really lovely to watch that.
I think having that bond is really helpful, and I think that training him and the amount of detail about each other that we have to have learned has really been an impact on that.
And you always say, because, you know, Tourette's changes. So one tic lasts, you know, for a series of months or years or a day, so Otto gets to do things that are really impactful for Indy on any given day, because she now knows how to train him for every tic that arises. You know, she knows she's got the toolkit to work through, and if something irritating comes up, then she can do that with him.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
Bad for audio.
Sorry, tick.
Oh, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep, that's a tick.
All right. Well, I'm learning too.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I get that.
I apologize.
No,
I
it's
didn't
completely
mean to.
it's completely fine. I don't mind.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience with me.
It's fine. So I've been wanting a dog since I literally could talk. I love dogs with all my heart. They're amazing, and I've always loved dogs. And so it was always the thing on my Christmas list. Can I have a dog? And then I started getting older, and I learned what service dogs were, and actually service dog TikToks. They were a profound impact on me. And just getting to see like other people working and the different disabilities that they're for. And I started to think, you know, maybe this could be a thing for me. And I just thought they were so cool. And I watched all the service dog documentaries, and I was just like, this is amazing. And then, so I started talking to my parents about it. And at first, like, our lifestyle, it's had to change a lot to fit a dog. And so at first they were like, oh, I don't know, a dog would be really hard, but my tics were just getting really bad, and to the point that with the help of my therapist, who I brought the idea up to, and she was immediately like, yes, you need to get a dog. You need this. This is amazing. I've seen this work for Tourette's and for other things, and you absolutely need this. And that kind of convinced my parents, and then we started looking into it, and they started looking into it, and they were like, you know what, actually, I think this could be really helpful. And maybe you want to give your perspective for this.
Yeah, it was a little bit, we had decided that we wouldn't have a dog because of our lifestyle. And Indy's right, it has had to change a lot. But I think it's just been so helpful. So yeah, Indy's therapist had experience of working with young people with a service dog, and she could see the impact. And at that time, as I said earlier, you know, Indy was experiencing some really quite impactful tics. that were keeping her out of her education, keeping her out of extracurricular things. And so it was something that we were willing to try. And it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And then I was so lucky to find Atlas, right? And it's everything. It's at a price point that's accessible to everybody. It's ongoing education. You know, we had never raised a service dog before. So the fact that we have, a wraparound service where, you know, that we have so many lessons online. We have access to facilitators who can answer questions, which we have a lot of questions all the time.
And they also just teach you like how to they teach you as well as how to teach your dog. So it's like, what does his body language mean? How do I care for him? Like hygiene, what are his care needs for medical and stuff like that. So it's a very cohesive thing, and that makes me a better handler, and then makes him more willing to work for me. Atlas is amazing. Yes, Atlas has been amazing. Everyone is so great, and I think for me, like on top of just the training and everything, it's the fact that I get to see other people with service dogs and going through similar experiences I'm going through, and just knowing that these are people that get what is happening and get me and know what's going on and the experiences that I'm having because they've had similar ones. And knowing that Otto, and I just get to see, especially being really young, getting to see people with service dogs like grown up and know that there's a future there, and it's not, and getting to have that community.
It enables people to not just live their lives, but really thrive. And I think to give that gift to somebody, that your life can be everything you ever dreamed for it to be, and that your disability is not the barrier that it once was. Like, what a gift that is. I'd encourage everybody, to give this, you know, what India's had is just amazing.
A dog training organization that's helping individuals learn to train their own service dog ends up providing a benefit to such a large portion of the population. We should never overlook the freedoms and the benefits that come from having a service dog and being able to train your own service dog. An organization like Atlas that's teaching people to train their own service dogs is really unlocking potential and possibility for such a large number of people. It's a really worthwhile organization that's doing really good work for people who really benefit from it and who really need it.
Is Cal simply a benefit or a necessity?
He's both.
I would say he's both. So much both.
Both.
Oh, I think both. With our relationship, it was perhaps a benefit at first, but I think our closeness, our dependence on each other made it a necessity.
When I got him, it was necessity because I was severely, severely affected. And now it's funny because it's like, I feel like lots of people that need treatment or medication or something, they go on the treatment and they're like, oh, you know, I'm doing so much better now. This is just a benefit. I don't need this anymore. I'm good. But the treatment is the thing that's making me good. So at first it was a necessity, and he's still a necessity because I know that if heaven forbid he wasn't there, then I would go right back to where I was. But now that he's really impacting me and I'm doing really good, I would say he's more of a benefit than a necessity, but he's actually a necessity because he's the reason that I'm doing good. And so, but when I got him, he was a necessity, absolutely.
He is so much a benefit, and he is so much a necessity. I would not even be in this room today if it weren't for my dog. I'd have, my anxiety would be out the door. And the confidence that Harvey gives me just to be in public or in different venues is invaluable. Sometimes I look at him and think, what would I do without you, you know? And the benefit, the benefits are too innumerable to list. There's nothing like the love of a dog. It's heartfelt, it's whole, it's real, it's consistent, it's deep. So benefits, definitely many benefits.
He's a benefit in that I'm able to do things, I'm able to engage in life again, and engage with people and enjoy life and volunteer and do things that I really want to do. Do I absolutely need to do those things? No, I don't. But I want to. And it's a way I can give back to my community. It's a way I can serve others. It's a way I can get that feeling that I had when I was in the military, and enrich the lives of others. So I'd say he's both. He's a benefit and he's a necessity if I really want to be out there again.
I think it's important to always remember that this is a relationship, and that the more I support my partner, my dog, the more he can support me. And the more I look at keeping him healthy long term, the longer he can work, and the longer he can help me, and the longer I can help other people too.
Turner was a joyful being. He brought joy to pretty much anybody who encountered him. We called him Wiggles when he was younger because his whole body moved when he met somebody, when he greeted somebody. He was a happy, loving being, and being with him, seeing how he felt about me, it was a beautiful thing. It was one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life, having a service dog, having Turner as my service dog, and my dog and my friend. I miss him very much. But I still kind of go through hikes in my head with him, remembering us walking in various trails. I want to be able to think about what I had when I had him and we had each other. But I wouldn't have missed it for anything.